The Simpsons. One of the most popular and longest running TV shows ever. It's no surprise that it has spawned various video games. Previous titles have shown that their video game spin-offs follow the flow of what's popular. Platforming, arcade beat-em-ups, skateboarding, wrestling.
Is there anything they can't do?
Whereas Road Rage before it capitalised on the gameplay of Crazy Taxi, Hit and Run took inspiration from Grand Theft Auto, which was the style at the time. You're given a sort of open world and a list of missions you must complete to progress the story. America's Crud Bucket is split up into 3 standalone donut-shaped maps: Evergreen Terrace, Downtown Springfield, and the Squidport Seaside, all with a plethora of landmarks and notable locations from the show. Blast through the Stonecutter's secret tunnel, jump over a mound of dog doo, or drive up the escalator to nowhere. Across these levels, you play as Homer, Bart, Lisa, Marge, and for some reason there's a Pooh. In fact, a lot of the extended residents are here. Krusty, Grandpa, Ned Flanders, Moe, Mr. Burns, that little wiener kid Milhouse, all marvellously voice acted by the show's original cast. And they all band together to work out who is responsible for the mystery revolving around blacked out vans, wasp cameras, and a new and improved batch of Buzz Cola that isn't poisonous to anybody.
That we know of.
It does, however, make people go something.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
You're able to hop into many iconic cars that have appeared in the show, such as the on a roller soapbox racer that Bart piloted to victory, the car Homer designed that bankrupted his brother's motoring company, Snake's premium-fueled muscle car, and Marge's squirrel-crushing, deer-smacking driving machine. You can also thumb a lift from any passing NPC vehicle should you find yourself without some wheels. Mechanically, it's fairly identical to Grand Theft Auto. In this Homer Roamer, you can moot around on foot or in car wherever and however you please. Roads are suggestions, just like pans. You can smash lampposts, cola crates, phone boxes, fences, conveniently place window panes, and inconveniently place pedestrians.
I hope it's Flanders.
But be careful, as you do so, the hit and run meter fills. Max it out and the police come out to try and stop you. Either escape or pay up. Thankfully, every destructible item spits out coins, and you're never too far away from picking up any extra. There's only a handful of mission types, which can get a bit repetitive with their lack of variety. It normally consists of a race against the clock, or another resident, tailing or escaping someone, destroying another vehicle, collecting a bunch of items, or a combination of the above. Some of the later missions, including the final 3, if you know, can become groin-grabbingly difficult, leaving you with very little margin for error, especially with its laughably tight time limits. Becoming accustomed to the level and knowing where all the shortcuts are is a huge advantage, but more often than not, you're at mercy of the traffic getting in the way, the hitboxes on pickups, accidentally maxing out the hit and run gauge, or the game's cumbersome driving physics. Numerous times I would finish some missions with nanoseconds to spare. For the most part, I like the way the cars handle, and not because they're particularly good to drive, but because it's rewarding to keep them in check. The more powerful cars feel quite slippery, and as a result, taming a massive power slide is actually very satisfying. However, most of the time you're more than likely to hit that chestnut tree. And I always had a slight appreciation for the fact that you can drive around in the burnt out husk of a fully damaged car too. There's a few side missions to unlock bonus cars and extra coins, but outside of that, there's not too much to do besides the 7 missions found in each map. By the time you reach the end of Lisa's level, you've kind of seen it all. Earlier maps are reused, with the last level essentially turning into a Treehouse of Horror variant of the first. I am 100% convinced that that last level is definitely what inspired Dark Souls. And because it's an early 2000s game, expect a collectathon. You're encouraged to explore, destroy all the wasp cameras, find collectible cards and gags, unlock all the vehicles and costumes, and find the secret cars jotted around the map. Despite this, the game is a terrible platformer. The camera is too wonky, and the jumping and attack actions can be frustrating to nail.
You tried your best, and you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try.
Hit and Run has become a bit of a cult classic in recent years. I played it when I was much younger. I don't know how, as I still seem to struggle this time round, but looking back on it, it's still quite playable. The soundtrack is unironically amazing, and the humour is definitely still there. I think you've got to have some appreciation for classic era Simpsons. It does feel like you're playing an extended episode of the show. Those who haven't grown up with this golden era of The Simpsons will probably not get it, especially since they changed what it was, and whatever it is now is weird and scary. For me then, it was a fun window back to 2003. The Simpsons may be a little past their prime at the moment, but this was the perfect vertical slice of how the show and video game spin-offs in general were like. We don't see many TV show spin-off games anymore, probably because a lot of them did feel like cheap cash grabs. Despite some of the janky shortcomings, Hit and Run actually still remains an outlier.
Marge, I'm confused. Is this a happy ending or a sad ending?
It's an ending, that's enough.